So really, do we want to just go over? Do we want to first reflect on the crazy but really boring year that has been 2023? 2023 has been, I mean, 2023. The end of 2023 ended up being a really good year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's so funny because I actually kind of forget when FTX blew up last year, right? FTX blew up end of last year,
Yeah.
and then was that the bottom? When did ETH hit 1100? Was that last year or this year? That was last year, right?
I think that was last year because
Last year, right? Okay.
I'm pretty
Okay, so that was
sure we found a floor of
yes,
support around 1500
yeah, yeah,
throughout
yeah,
this year.
yeah. So yes, so that was I remember now. That was when I capitulated. Every This happens every cycle. It's like I fucking know that this thing is going up, and I feel like I just couldn't. I just had way too much of my net worth in crypto. I was like, holy fuck, like this is it. Like I'm going down. Uh, but um, but yeah. So 2023 came in. I think I had a decent um uh uh stable coin bag, I guess, or cash. And so like the whole plan was, all right, what are we allocating to? You know, like we know BTC works, we know ETH works, but something else is gonna be, a showstopper. And I mean, just knowing and following Solana's progress, I just, last cycle was Binance. Like every time I've thought of a project that was doing well, in the last two cycles, like I was, somewhat right. Like as in I outperformed, BTC or, Ethereum. And so my goal this year was like, okay, if you think anything is good, you should allocate more money to it, or at least as much money to it as you're allocating to the big two. Right. And so for this cycle, it was Solana. And thankfully that played out right. So I'd always expected Solana to outperform ETH. I thought, okay, ETH was at, let's say, 1500. I was like, okay, ETH does a 3x. Do I think Solana at like 15 or 20 was going to get to $60? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, so that made so much sense at the time from just like a risk reward perspective. So yeah. So in terms of like just looking back in the year, that was a call that like, I got right. Of course, you should have bought more, but that's fine. One thing I'd say though is that I didn't expect ETH to underperform this much. Uh, it was it's kind of surprising, and I still kind of am low key waiting for ETH to just do like a really nasty pump. Um, but um, but yeah, so expected Solana to outperform ETH. Didn't expect ETH to underperform this much. Man, the magnitude of the airdrops on Solana, that I did not anticipate. Like I was going around thinking to myself, man, I am gonna try these things and like just be ready for the bull market. Did I know that there was gonna be airdrops? I think I suspected that there'd be airdrops because I was around for the ETH DeFi cycle and qualified for a bunch of those airdrops. And I remember thinking to myself or telling myself that, hey, for every once margin released their point system, I was like, okay, the goal is to be top 100. Like every protocol be top 100. And at the time, it seemed doable. Like if you given the amounts that people had then, but now it's like borderline impossible for some of these projects because there are people who
TT, if you top 100 on any of them leaderboards, baby boy, I need a loan because you a whale. That means you're a whale, man.
No. You don't have to be a whale. You just have to be there for like margin. You don't have to be depending on how you define a whale. You just have to be there like long enough, right? Like because it's
Yes.
cumulative. So like I've been a margin since like June, right? So like
Oh, damn. Okay.
folks who are joining like last month, they'd have to like not only they'd have to like put in 10 times the amount I put in for them to be at the number of points I got. So like that's that. So that was one little thing I did that kind of worked too. In retrospect, Actually, in retrospect, no, I'm fine. Because I did that for margin, Camino, and somewhat some kind of drift. One that I think I sort of missed, but I might just like fucking ape really hard on that is Parcel, because I really like what they're doing. I think it's an OPOS project, only possible on Solana. And if they airdropped and if they became a thing, I think it would. It's one of those things that I can see, like, mainstream media carrying as like, oh, like this is a cool thing. Real estate, people are really into real estate, and now they can trade it. U.S. real estate, that is. So Parcel Points is one thing I kind of really want to get into. I haven't really, like, I put just a little bit after you told me. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or so, just to make sure that I'm in the running. But like my rank is just terrible. I think I'm like more than 1,000, and so not really feeling that. I'm trying to get as close to top 100 as possible. I don't know if that'll be really hard given the fact that there are people who already aren't in it, but I might have to do some borrowing magic or whatever and just like load up for a couple of weeks, get myself to a good rank, and then like try to like hold it steady there. Yeah.
Would you say that the focus on like your airdrop activity is like to put a lot of your airdropping capital behind like farming a select few, or are you trying to get the most amount of airdrop rewards from a select few protocols, or are you trying to get just a little bit of an airdrop from as many projects as you can?
I want to get a lot from few. So I'm not necessarily using protocols for their airdrops. I'm using airdrop potential as an indicator for what protocols I should try out. Right. And so if I try out the protocol and it seems to work with my style of investing, then I deploy funds there. Either, if it fits with my style, or if there's something about it that I really that speaks to me or that I appreciate, then because Parcel, I'm not really invested in real estate, but the liquidity provider part, the tie into real estate, the liquidity, the points, that there's just a lot of things there that like I'm kind of like vibing with, and so that's why I like Parcel. So right now, like my biggest airdrop farming protocols are Margin Fi, Camino, Drift, and like I said, I want to make Parcel one of them. So I that doesn't mean I don't have I have positions in RainFi, I have positions in Zeta. I think I have some position in like Jup Perps or whatever. And also
you open some Zeta Perps.
Oh yeah, Zeta. Yeah. I just said that, right?
You open some Zeta Perps.
Yeah, I did. Zeta, Jup.
My pressure got to you.
Zeta, I did. Yeah, I did. I told you I was gonna do it. Zeta, Jupes, and Drift. So I have perps in all three of them. So that's good from like just like spreading funds. But like for those, like it's like relatively little. I think it's like maybe like less than 1% of my net worth across those three. So it's, I'm not my net worth, but like crypto allocation, that is. Yeah, didn't expect the magnitude of airdrops I got. Like I think all my airdrops combined in Ethereum, one airdrop in Solana it's like 10 times more than all of my airdrops in Ethereum combined. So it was pretty good. Now I am kind of aping right now, so I haven't sold anything. Well, yeah, I haven't really sold anything. So I'm just kind of waiting and anticipating like a bigger run later on. But
it's something that I know you're. I know you don't want me to poke at you about it, but I'm going to, for the sake of conversation pieces for the audience here. So, let's reflect on that just a little bit. We all know, like, I cashed out on Jito. I sold as soon as liquidity gave us like steady pricing without too much slippage. And I've cashed out. You are aping into tell me about that position one more time, and I think when does that unlock? Because both of us, like I have my locked up, and then you have that Jito stake LP locked up
Yeah.
until like
Yeah.
early GM.
Yeah, I'm just loading up my page now to actually see the position. I haven't looked at it in like a week. Okay, so right now, this is actually a bad time to be asking me about it because I don't even know what the price is. What's the price right now?
What's JTO at?
Gideon's price. It's probably like $2.10 or something last time I checked.
I have Drift open right now. Let me see. JTO's trading at 225.
225. Okay, all right. So this thing,
you're in a good spot, man.
So this thing went up to like 4 at some point. So I can tell you right now that it says, I don't know how true this is, that I've made pretty, low 5 figures on the P&L. Let's see. And in terms of, I made low 5 figures on the P&L, and I don't know if they're adding the Jito incentives to that, but the Jito incentives are about $100 a day.
Fuck. What?
So let's see.
What's the is it API APY APR? What's the
APR is 72%.
72%.
I don't know how this thing works. Yeah, I think it's 72%.
We'll just have to see a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's limited liquidity. New platforms that we haven't really used.
Yeah, the boosted APY is about 100%. So yeah, and then the 7 days 36%. So this one, I think once it unlocks, I'm probably gonna get out. I've played this. I don't know if it was worth it, because my goal moving forward. Okay, let me finish that topic. So yeah, so the play at the time was hold on to GTO and basically act according to the incentives I'm given, right? And so there was incentives to provide LP, and it was a limited. There was limited capacity, and I just kind of aped in without even thinking, and then thought about it later, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have. But all in all, I think it was a good. So far, like if it ended now, that would have been a good play. Now, if Jito continues to go down, I might regret this. But I don't know. Like it's fine anyways. What I think
that position's probably worth. I mean, that position's worth at least 12K right now, right? I mean, you'll probably get some selling. Are you worried about the potential amount of selling that's going to happen once all of these positions become more liquid?
That's a good question. And now that you say that, I gotta make a note for myself. I might have to short Jito on the perps market ahead of the
perps, man.
Ahead of the.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I should put on a Jito short in anticipation of these unlocks because everybody's looking at the APYs, and I mean, it's gonna be a pretty good unlock. Like, how much? What's the value of that pool that you're currently in?
I think it's like 6 mil.
6 mil?
Yeah, 7.
7 mil.
6.8.
And some people are going to take profits off of that.
Yeah,
I don't know how much that's going to affect price, but
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure people would. So I'll probably look at what the perps APR is, and the thing is that to take a position on that, I'd have to bring in an equivalent amount of money into. So I gotta move. This is the part where I start to get jittery, where I feel like I've put in as much as I'm comfortable with, but now I gotta put in more to be able to like hold a short position. So we'll see. Oh, actually, I don't have to. I could just like unwind some of my other positions. Um, yeah, okay, yeah. That's really what I would do. Unwind them, take some loan on margin five, have a really short play, and then yeah. Anyways, so that's that. That was good. Bonk kind of has been taking a hit recently. But that's fine. Oh, and so this is part of the reason why I don't really regret. I don't know if I regret Jito as much. I forget what Bonk's price was when Jito at the Jito airdrop, but moving forward, what I think I'm gonna do with every airdrop is just like split it 50-50. Like, I get an airdrop, I'm gonna split 50% goes to Soul, the other 50% will go to Bonk. Those are the only two coins I want to hold, like, for the medium to long term within Solana. Actually, that's not true. There are there are some other coins that I think are like very niche, but like I'm making like really big plays on like Hubble Protocol and Dual Finance. So those are two, and the reason why is because those two are not really spoken about, but I see projects using them, or I see their founders have like a good credibility within the space. So I suspect that once retail comes in and there's a little bit of attention to those, the token might go up in a really drastic way. So those I have a little bit of position in. So those are the two that I will, hold on to until like liquidity comes into the market. I'm hoping that with Jupe's airdrop, we get more liquidity, and then some of these like low liquidity coins would be it'd be easy to like scale out of them. Let's see. So that's that for that Jito play, and so I also just told you my HPP and my Duo play also there. But yeah, so that's that update on that trade there. So last thing in terms of recap of the year was I did a little bit of an early spray and pray approach where I just bought a bunch of anything that seemed to make sense. So put in a couple grand in a bunch of coins, and Bonk was the best performer of all of them. Didn't anticipate that, but again, that's part of the strategy, right? Like, didn't know what was going to take off, but I probably bought like 10 to 15 low cap coins around, like, was it November 11th, and like by the next week they all started like taking a bit. So Bonk performed the best, and I am actually I get more and more bullish Bonk, actually, even with the price going down, because I think I don't know if you saw the post by AVAX where they are now going to be investing in meme culture coins or whatever. There is no other coin Solana is going to like pump more as a team than Bonk. Like, Bonk just isn't. Like, dog with a hat, like, yeah, great. Like, that might be like a good meme, but like, I think Bonk is going to get to the point where it's like it's gonna be seen as more than a meme. That's just my thought. And another thing I was thinking of was like, with some of these tokens, just because like I told you, I buy a few protocols, but I go kind of big on that. So of all the meme coins, like Bonk is the only one where I feel like I can really like ape in with like some money, because like one thing I've noticed is that like you could have a coin where you believe in it from a meme perspective, you buy a ton of it, but then you realize that you can't actually ape out because there's just not enough liquidity. And so that's something I learned on ETH, first of all, but then I also saw it here too, because there was a time where I forget what the coin was, like really did had a huge run, and then when I tried to like get out, it was like a 10% slippage fee. So I was like, oh shit, fuck, like I can't really just ape into like really small projects. So sticking to Sol and Bonk for the medium to long term. Let's see, that was a lot of words, but how was your year?
Let me make sure that oh, okay. I thought I muted myself for a minute. I by far had my most exciting and encouraging year And this year really solidified my passion um, for crypto and just making crypto my life. Um, when things kind of click with me and I choose a route, I tend to really dig my heels in it and go for it. And again, all right, so just kind of reflecting on the year as a whole, I sat down and really started working on educating myself on how to navigate the crypto space in a way that's a bit more mature and figure out like what kind of trader slash investor I'm ultimately going to be. Like, am I going to be somebody who is glued to their keyboard and they're actively trading? Am I going to be somebody who is constantly looking for the new project and trying to be early and airdrop farming? Am I going to be a leveraged yield farmer? And I've ultimately come to a crossroads of some combination of all of those. And this year has been by far my most successful year, my most encouraging year, and I want to say I don't want to say my most stressful year. We were definitely in a bear market. So I think the bear gave me a lot of calm and opportunity to not focus on like price go up. It was just more like where opportunity is going to be. I'm really happy that I broke out of the whole Ethereum is God paradigm. That is like, I think that Ethereum is like pretty fucking toxic sometimes. And like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I love all crypto. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, all the way from the King BTC down to all of the meme shit coins. I don't care, because crypto is all about speculation. Crypto is all about the opportunity for you to win it all, lose it all, or fall somewhere in between those extremes. So I love the opportunity in this space for even me to just sit down and like have met you and have these really awesome conversations. Crypto's all about opportunity. And like whatever that means, it's great. But Ethereum it has such a strong influence over anything that isn't Bitcoin. It was hard for me to like break out of that, and it kept me kind of hamstrung as to what projects and opportunities I was willing to even try to find. And I was happy that I started to develop my own thesis around what I should be doing, what deserves my attention, and what deserves my investment. And I took a few $100 out of my Ethereum portfolio and moved it over to Solana, and it turned into a 5K profit for me within 3 months. Um, so to wrap up kind of what last year was for me, it was a maturing of myself, and kind of me going from being a student of the game who's going to like cling on to the coattails of all the talking heads that are on Twitter and on YouTube and all of the other platforms, to being somebody who can kind of sit down and navigate things on my own and find my own way. So much so to the point where to kind of reinforce my own learning, I want to teach people and have a voice. And I think, to not go on too much, that's pretty much the year for me, is me really coming into my own as a crypto participant, is a good way I'd surmise.
Nice. You want to go into predictions for next year?
Yeah, let's go into predictions for next year. My predictions for next year, and I'm just gonna leave Drift up with Bonk, even though. Oh, you know what?
What?
My predictions for next year, at least for my own personal portfolio, is that I am going to receive an airdrop from at least 3 different ecosystems. So I intend to get an airdrop from at least Solana, Cosmos, and Polkadot.
Polkadot. Tell me more about that.
Polkadot is also not as much as Osmosis and Cosmos, but they're also a player in that modular thesis. And as the wealth effect of Bitcoin, right? Because we have the Bitcoin ETF that's going to get approved. I mean, BlackRock's not going to give up until they get that damn ETF. And once that ETF goes through for BlackRock, everything else is going to come. We kind of alluded to, or you kind of mentioned, like, why in the world isn't ETH pumping at all, even though the crypto bull market seems to be getting going. I think it's because there's so much confidence around the BTC ETF being approved, and there is a desire for the same thing to happen for Ethereum. But because ETH hasn't gone through, I think that TradFi money has yet to find its way into really snagging up ETH. I think that TradFi is still really hanging by on the sidelines, waiting for regulation to allow them to get into a space, to get into crypto and have them be confident that they're going to be, doing things above board. Where that brings me with like Polkadot and some of these other ecosystems is as we properly get into the next bull cycle and the wealth effect of Ethereum, people are going to take profits. The way I'm thinking about it is the same way that I'm now getting into Cosmos after the Jito airdrop. So, the Jito airdrop was very healthy, and I've just taken like a little bit of that money and moved it over to Cosmos. And in the last week, I'm up almost 40%. So that wealth effect, as folks make money on Bitcoin, if they are aligned with Ethereum, they're going to take some of that money and move it into ETH. And it's just going to have a trickle down effect, right? A rising tide is going to lift all boats. So as that tide comes up, I want to make sure that if I have an airdrop on Solana, that I move some of that capital and diversify my portfolio into other places that I have not explored yet. And especially, again, just within the last 3-4 days of returns that I've been able to see in the potential of some of these more modular focused ecosystems. There's a lot of opportunity there, and I think that as folks start to remember and start to appreciate the fact that the whole modular thesis that Ethereum's ecosystem has adopted didn't originate there. Everything was supposed to fall on Ethereum. Ethereum was supposed to be the settlement layer for the entire world. It was supposed to be ultrasound money. It was supposed to be the world's computing machine. And then they said gas got way too high. So now they're breaking out into all the L2s. Cosmos and Tendermint started that stuff. And then Polkadot. And then all of these other ecosystems. So as people start to say, all right, navigating L2s is a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass, and bridging exploits, as I've passionately ranted about previously with you, you've been subject to my rants previously, I apologize, is such a massive risk that folks have to deal with in the ecosystem of Ethereum. And some of these other modular native ecosystems are a lot less risky and a lot easier to traverse. As you'll see in the video that I just got done publishing for Cosmos, it takes like 3 minutes to get USDC from Solana to Cosmos.
Oh, really?
It's so freaking easy, bro. Like I can do a screen share and do it like this. It's so easy.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a commitment to you today that by tomorrow I should. Oh fuck! I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold on to this, but I'm gonna try by tomorrow to have my Cosmos positions all done in terms of the staking. And the reason why is because I also want to make some shorts. Have some shorts position right before the new year, because we're anticipating that. When I say we, I mean crypto Twitter. Let me know what your reaction is to this. That a couple of people are holding off selling until the new year, when they can delay their taxes, their tax gains to another year. So I want to put a short position on the 31st and hold it on till the first work day.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that thesis, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't be in such a bad position to have shorts open right now.
Yeah. And
Right.
and based on what you're saying, which I wasn't thinking about in terms of like the movement of funds from Bitcoin to Ethereum after the potential ETF approval, I was actually thinking of another trade, which would be to actually short BTC and long Ethereum. Because here's my thought: if Bitcoin gets approved, like you said, all eyes are going to turn to Ethereum, and we're on the move. But if Bitcoin fails, Ethereum shouldn't go down as much, I would think, because no one's been looking at Ethereum anyways. And so
I think Ethereum definitely has a floor to
Right.
the price.
Right.
The Ethereum community absolutely loses his shit. Bankless,
Mhm.
go and look at Bankless's, recent videos. In at least the last 5, Ryan and other, they're losing their mind that the price of Ethereum, like they literally opened the show. We
Yeah.
think that Ethereum's undervalued.
Right.
They're upset and they're stomping their feet. The Ethereum community, especially with everything that's happening macro, like broadly, right? Because even the TradFi bull market, the S&P, the Nasdaq, we're in a macro bull cycle, right? So traditional stocks are performing very well, and considering that when you look at the world of crypto from a TradFi perspective, Bitcoin is a tech stock, Ethereum is a tech stock. So they're like, oh, S&P 500, Nasdaq. Why aren't people coming into Ethereum? So like Ethereum,
Right.
the community's definitely put a floor under that price. So I have a hard time trying to see why, outside of some crazy thing happening with like Gary Gensler and regulation, as to why ETH would go down in price from here.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed on all fronts. Let's see. Okay, so do you have anything more for next year?
I'm just gonna be branching out. As far as things beyond like my personal portfolio, no. I mean, I'm not gonna do the whole. Oh, do you think that the BTC ETF is gonna pass? Like, I'm not gonna do all the mainstream media parroting of all the big narratives that are happening in crypto. I think that, and I feel like I'm stating the obvious to say that as BTC continues to go up in price after the ETF is approved, because it will inevitably happen, there'll be the tide will come in and all boats will rise. And I believe that as that tide comes in, more ecosystems beyond Ethereum, because Ethereum still doesn't have perfect scaling. It still has a lot of freaking problems with scaling, so much so that you are seeing people willing to go out and adopt other technologies outside of the Ethereum ecosystem to help Ethereum scale. Celestia,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
I gotta do research on Celestia. I kind of started just listening to a bunch of podcasts. What it seems like, I mean, that kind of it ties to some of my predictions for next year. But let's
bro,
keep
look
going.
at Kuji. Look at
Bro,
Gojira.
yeah, I got a bag. Let me just put it
Bro.
that way.
Oh, you got a bag of Kujira?
I got a bag. In fact, my next play is to start stacking some of their alts.
Dude, the whole thing with IBC is IBC is so cool. IBC, the friction, the lack of friction between buying swapping between assets on all of the plethora of chains that are built on top of Cosmos puts Ethereum L2s to fucking shame.
Yeah, I haven't. To be honest with you, I haven't tried L2s. The L2 I want to try is base, and I keep saying that, and I haven't done it. And I'm just gonna add it to the list of things I need to do.
You're not on base. You don't have a base bag.
I do not. I haven't done anything on base.
Well, you know what? I can't criticize you. Like, I'm an L2 native. Most of my, even at this moment, I mean, no, because of Jito, my Solana bags are bigger than my L2 bags, but that's just not even that much. Yeah, I mean, definitely try it out. But dude, stay away from decentralized bridges, man. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And that's what really excites me about Osmosis and Cosmos and like the whole Cosmos hub. IBC is big, and I feel like the IBC narrative should be a lot bigger, but the Ethereum community is so good at gatekeeping narratives and gaslighting and I'm not shit talking. I'm just being real. Like, let's call dog shit, and just make sure that we don't step in it. The Ethereum community gaslights the crap out of the crypto space to make it seem like the way that Ethereum is scaling is actually good, but it's not. Interoperability between the L2s sucks. And IBC has long since resolved this problem in a way that is far cleaner. You don't have to worry about slippage. It just works better. And I'm not shilling Osmosis. I'm saying, I'm going to pursue profits. I'm profit maxi. I'm not anything maxi besides money. Like, I want the bread. Going cross-chain, cross-project, because a lot of projects are their own chain in Osmosis. The user experience on Cosmos is way better than L2s on Ethereum.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. And like, I was a huge Terra. I wasn't a huge Terra bull, but like, I really appreciated what Terra showed about what was possible on Atom. I think the biggest problem with Atom was just that like there was no token to consolidate attention on, right? Like, Atom was not really accruing any sort of value, and it was just kind of like they weren't even really trying to be the central token, and they couldn't really be the way the infrastructure was created. But I saw what happened on Terra. I saw what was possible. And one of my predictions is that we will see a Cosmos ecosystem token that would just do what Solana did or what Bonk did, like just do something crazy. I feel like the next Solana is going to be be a Cosmos ecosystem token. That's my is that a meme coin on Cosmos?
Yeah, Chihuahua.
I'm not sure. I have the. I don't think I have the balls for AP meme coins, man. Like, I think Bonk was easy because of like I didn't pick Bonk because it was a meme coin. I picked the meme coin I saw integrated with other protocols, and that just happened to be Bonk. All right, so it's gonna be. I'd have to see if, like, for me to get the next meme coin, it would have to be within DeFi, and like that's what like encourages me to do that. But anyways, right now for my Cosmos ecosystem token, the three contenders I have for it for that prediction are Injective. I don't know much about Injective. I just seen it moon, and I've seen the guys at Delphi Digital talk about it. But I know when I tried to do research and figure out what to do there, I couldn't really figure it out. So Injective, I might have not necessarily a bag, but I might take a position using perps for Injective. The other one is Celestia. That one has a lot of attention right now, but you know how crypto attention goes. Like sometimes you're the hottest thing and then you're not. Well, Celestia seems like it'd be integrated in a bunch of things like Eclipse, where it would be acting as a as the data availability layer. I'm still trying to learn more about that. But the third, and actually the most important for me, is Kuji. And the reason why I'm playing hard on Kuji is because it's the lowest market cap of the three. It also has a consolidated wallet and the Sonar wallet, just like Terra did, and they have a bunch of products that are working and have been working for the past months to a year, and I just think it has everything needed for people to like kind of congregate around and get the most out of the Cosmos ecosystem. So that's my Cosmos ecosystem prediction, and to play off of that prediction, I'll be doing what you suggested, taking staking a couple of $100 in as many of the chains that I like, and then also voting on proposals. I know that's something you wrote down, but we didn't really talk about it. But that's something that I think would set apart just a regular airdrop farmer from someone whom the protocol actually appreciates, which is someone involved in governance, because that's really lacking. Another prediction is that I think that Solana would be a number 3 token by market cap. Is that going to happen this year? Why not? Oh, next year. Sorry, 2024. I think we can do that. We already flipped Binance once. We can really. I think we can take that one.
Did you see people celebrate the flippening of Solana with XRP? That was celebrated.
Yeah, it was celebrated, but it was muted because after a while, because it was not much of a celebration as much as it was like, okay, the world is fixing itself kind of
rational
thing.
Right? Yeah.
The Solana Binance flipping was also it was noticed. I would have expected Solana to hold, but yeah. I think at this point, Solana and Binance are around about in the same position, where they're both about 50% from their all-time high. So it'd be very telling how things progress from here. I know although Binance is like a sex, I have a soft spot for it because like I really appreciate their capabilities and their ability to ship, and like just some of the things they've done in the crypto space. I appreciate it, and so it's gonna be bittersweet, but I do want Solana to exceed them. And the ultimate
Binance definitely just has the Asian narrative. There's so many things, like being in the U.S. We're definitely kind of pushed toward things like optimism and Base, of course. Binance. Coinbase being the premier U.S. serving exchange, and they have their L2, and BNB they have their own optimistic roll up L2, but users in Asia, I know when some people look at Binance in America, or in the West, and they're like, what the hell's going on over there? Like, why is it number 3? It's number 3 because there's a whole nother side of the planet that teams prefer to build on that infrastructure. And I think that Solana has its work cut out for it to gap Binance. I think that they could have a tug of war and go back and forth, but to gap Binance, there's going to need to be some more. It still has a way to go, and it's going to be a fun journey watching it get there.
But I think Solana has to, for it to prove itself, like because because Binance at the end of the day is an EVM fork. Actually, they might be in Cosmos now. I think they switched. I can't remember the Binance Smart Chain. I forget if
Binance Smart Chain did make BNB OP, which is an optimistic rollup that's built on Optimistic's infrastructure.
Okay, all right. But they're going literally the way of Coin, or rather, Coinbase is trying to be like Binance. So that's like a head-on competition, and I guess that doesn't really have anything to do with Solana, but like I think that for Solana to really be in this conversation, like and like hold its own, it's got to be number 3. So I don't know if this is a prediction as much as it is a wish, but I need Solana to be number 3 and actually higher than USDT, honestly. I mean, and eventually we'll have to take out USDT and USDC because like they're kind of mucking up the whole market cap thing. Because I do see a scenario where USDC or some sort of USD derivative has the highest market cap on coin market cap, right? Like so I'm not really looking at that for a number 3, but I need Solana to be above Binance consistently. And for that to happen, Solana has to like freaking shoot up to like 150 right now and stay there. But that's that. So it's a prediction, is a wish, whatever it is. I think this year Bitcoin goes above 1 trillion. That's not too hard. If we got the ETF approval, that's a done. I'm thinking in a bull, Solana gets like we get to a decent bull, and Solana gets to 100 million. I don't think that's too ridiculous. I think Coinbase will hit an all-time high. I think right now they have a market cap of around like 40 something billion, so in around the same range as Binance. I do think that Solana might hit another, what do they call it, like a blackout or whatever. I think there's a lot of extreme optimism within Solana right now, and then something could easily happen where there's like a wave of activity, a Jupe airdrop, or because Jupe is airdropping to what, like 1 million users or something crazy like that.
The Solana network stability issues aren't a thing of the past, is what you're saying?
I don't think it's fully a thing of the past.
I didn't want to say it out loud, but if we're calling dog shit, I do suspect that there may be a Solana outage, and you know what? That might be what gets our channel canceled. But
yeah, well, there's the thing. I do think that if that happens, one, depending on what causes it, it could be a buying opportunity because people are going to freak out. They're going to be like, we thought we fixed this and it wasn't fixed. But at the same time, this is what I think would happen. I think there'll be a Solana outage. Is going to be because like worst case scenario, if I'm to sort of like role play this, let's say Jupiter does an airdrop. They airdrop to 1 million people. There's like 5 times as much transactions on Solana as has ever been seen in the crypto world within the span of like an hour, right? Like let's say like all of crypto does 1 million transactions per minute, and Solana all of a sudden gets like 50 million in a minute, right? And then there's an outage. So the argument would be like, well, Solana just, there was an outage. And then the Solana people are going to be like, well, like, come on, guys. Like, this is like 100 times more than any other chain has experienced. And we were only out for like, 10, 20 minutes, right? So that I think would be like the debate. Like it's like, yeah, there was an outage, but it was like because the demand was like so huge, and no other chain could even.
Never any loss of fun. That it is easy to kind of sweep it under the rug, just
right.
like and you know what? I liken Solana very temporary, while moderately disruptive, very temporary outages that they're immediately able to spot the problem, and within weeks, if not days, they have a patch that gets rolled out to all of the validators to address the problem. But also bear in mind that we have other companies now that are going to be building the software and tooling to harden that Solana infrastructure. Think about Jito. Jito is a validator suite. They're all like, you know what I mean? So, and then we also have Firedancer.
Yeah.
Remember Firedancer alone. And
Right.
I'm sorry, I'll turn it back to you, but Firedancer, we need to have multiple clients, and right now there's only two. There's the one that Solana has, and that's the one that's historically had problems. They ship a lot of things, and things, you know, break in production and what have you. But now we are starting to see people fork that Solana SVM and that validator set and make improvements on it. And that's why Ethereum is so resistant, because there's multiple clients that validators could run. And when validators and clients do inevitably have issues on Ethereum, you don't hear about them that much, because the validators are just easily able to just switch over to using a different client. It happens all the time. It happens all the time in Ethereum. It just happened to Arbitrum last week.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And like you said, there are fixes in the way for this, so it's not going to be an existential risk if it happens. But it'd be nice if it didn't happen. All right. So yeah. So like the other prediction is that like ETH will rise again. Institutional buyers are gonna, like, you know, once the BTC trade is done, they're gonna come back to ETH. And I know I had said earlier that you know, maybe there's a market here to like long ETH and short BTC, but you know, instead of longing ETH and shorting BTC, like if you think ETH is gonna go up, you might as well just buy every other thing that has gone up, because like if ETH goes up, every other thing is gonna go up. But like, you know, for a short-term play, maybe that works. You know, long ETH, short BTC. But
I'm gonna buy everything that's going down, honestly.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sizing up Polkadot. I just bought a bag of Atom and Cosmos, and Polkadot is cheaper than both of those. And you know, I'm just gonna get exposure to things that have stuck around, because as that institutional money is finally let through the gates with this ETF, the ETH ETF will soon follow. And then as these institutions are able to say, okay, it's safe for us to not only hold raw BTC on our balance sheets, now we can have the king of all smart contract tokens on our balance sheets in ETH. What other smart contract platform opportunities are out there, and that the liquidity is going to come. So I think right now, going into, you know, today's the December 30th, I think I'm gonna sit up tonight and build a bag of all of these alt L1s and just any other narratives that have been sticking around. I'm also going to look at things that the Ethereum community has continued to FUD, because the Ethereum talking heads actually do a good job at pointing out what you should invest in. I really started to look at Solana more seriously as Bankless kept on talking shit about Solana right before they pivoted. And me and you spoke about that a few weeks ago. Like, they were like really, really, really hard fudding. They're like, oh, don't tell me Solana's coming for our necks. And then here Solana is like 3 months later. So it's like, anything that I hear a talking head on Ethereum shit talking, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I like that. I might not do that, just because I'm not about to just throw, like, it's. I really need things I can monitor and things I can hold if there is a dump, because I'm also looking at macro and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what are the chances that you know, they said this year was going to be shit and it wasn't, and now they're saying next year is going to be great, and what if it isn't? So I'm a little bit cautious in terms of with my purchases now, partially because I went pretty hard like this year, but I also understand that I want to be allocating periodically. And so one thing I'll be doing is just like raw buying stuff is, like, for example, I'm gonna, like, you know, do what we discussed, which is stake some of these Cosmos tokens, but I'm actually gonna really like short them on, say, like Drift, for example, right? Like, so I'm gonna be using perps like as a way to, like, you know, both farm and, you know, as a form of risk management also, and then I'm also getting the yield on the shorts, right? So that's kind of like what I'm trying to do from like a delta neutral positioning slash airdrop farming slash research, so that's gonna be my play.
You laughed me off of the screen about perps, and now like what
I was
what
laughing.
changed?
I was laughing for it.
You
I wasn't laughing because of I
you
wasn't
were
laughing because
hard.
of perps.
You were
I wasn't
hollering at me
laughing.
about the
I
perps,
wasn't
man.
laughing at the idea of perps, and I think I corrected this. I was laughing at the idea that you said that your strategy was to buy low and sell
You don't
high.
need
I
to
was
bring that.
like,
You don't need to bring that up.
it
Next,
was like,
no,
no
we don't need to
shit,
talk about
Sherlock.
that.
No shit, Sherlock. That's everyone's strategy. Okay. All right.
You know what? Let's wrap this up. I know you got to get back to your family, and I've taken up a crap ton of your time. Um, yeah, I mean, are there any other big topics? I don't want it to get too late. And again, I know that we've got the holiday coming up, but if there's anything, of course, that you really want to laser in on, let's do it. But I just want to make sure I'm being mindful of your time here, TC.
No, I think I just want to be even more active on Twitter. I want to be engaging with other people's posts, reposting, quote tweeting. I kind of want to get the Twitter premium so I can DM certain people, or so my post gets more visibility. I think there's a lot of alpha that comes from folks just like interacting with you and you being able to ask certain kind of questions. Like, I mean, that was one way I was able to know about some of the things that were coming up in Camino before it actually came out. Like, one of the founders like DM'd me, or I DM'd them or whatnot, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like, yeah, this is what we're planning. And so once I knew what they were planning, I was able to stick a bunch of money in there, knowing that the point system was coming, like, for example, or like, the liquidity stuff was coming. So I was able to take my positions on the LP pools before they hit capacity. So there's just like little things like that can just help you with the positioning. And like, for example, for Drift, I know some of the ideas that they're thinking of in terms of like what could be built on their protocol. They're not building it yet, but I know that all it takes is for someone else to just read some of their docs and build that thing, and I'll be well positioned to take advantage of it because I already read the docs, and like, because they sent me the link, right? Because I wouldn't have found it on my own. So it's just stuff like that, just being more engaged. Like I already suggested this to you. If there is if there's like a conference like nearby, honestly, if there's a conference in the East, because I think we should go, like just like in New York or whatever, just like pop up there for like 2-3 days. I've done it in the past, and it's just kind of cool to like meet people in person, and like you never know, but like I think just from a like an in-person face-to-face type of thing, like it'd be kind of cool. I know like the Margin 5 guys I think they're based in Florida, and as well as like the Flexland guys too. So that's a little bit closer to me somewhat.
All right, but look here, TC, really quick.
Yeah.
Before you and I meet in person, my personal goal is what was the number of videos you said?
20.
Was it 20?
Yeah.
So this is number 1.
This is number 1. Okay.
Before we meet in person, the intention or the goal, because right, like if there's an opportunity for us to meet up in Atlanta, that's next week. I mean, as long as you're able to do it, I'm with it.
All right.
But let's try to set a goal for us to have 20 videos out before we have the opportunity before the opportunity for us to meet in person develops. Let's try to put out 20 videos together.
Yeah, that's good. I'm down. Let's do that.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Give me like a couple of your wrapping up thoughts so that we can so that we can jump off and get into starting to enjoy our new year.
Yeah, no, that was it. Just get more engaged on in Twitter, like putting out ideas, quote tweeting people, DMing whomever. Always trying out new stuff. I have a bunch of wallets now, so I'm not too scared to go ape into like new contracts. Yeah, and Yeah, between Solana and the Cosmos ecosystem, I think I have my work cut out for me in terms of like just keeping on top of things. And yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other things that I want to like, be able to understand better, like something like Eclipse, where they have, they have Celestia as a DA layer, Solana for execution, and Ethereum for settlement. I'm still trying to understand that like really well. EIP 48744 on Ethereum with the blobs, and it's supposed to like 10x transaction per second. I just have to read it over and over again and like do my research and get an understanding for what's going on there.
Well,
The
which
Solana,
one of those can we sit down and do a digestive video, a digestive discussion on?
uh,
I think you said Eclipse. Let's sit down and both of us just do a little like preliminary digging on it. But I mean, for that type of stuff, I think it's really cool. I mean, me and you are really good at exploring things together, so we can make it like a 20, 30 minute video if we have the time to just sit down and explore these concepts. And you know but
yeah, that's
talking through that type of stuff makes it a lot easier to digest, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, that's good. And like, there's three things that I like. I want to understand more of the Eclipse. Like I said, EIP 4744, and then also just Solana fees and the discussions around Solana fees and priority fees and how they're thinking of using compute units to determine the base fee, and burning all of the base fee instead of giving burning all of the base fee and giving all of the priority fees to validators. There's just like all these like nuances, like, and it'd be nice to like understand and talk through it. There's some really good podcasts on those already, but yeah, we could easily sit down and try to like just deep dive and think and talk through any of those topics. So yeah, that's it for me.
I find myself especially with wanting to make more content. It's like I'd rather sit here and record myself reading and edit that video to like have all of the parts where I'm actually expressing my understanding and put that
Okay.
out on my own YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, so almost like a study group. Like we just pull out the book. Everyone look at this book and then like, let's explain like what is going on in this paragraph. Like, what are
yeah,
they trying to say? That's an interesting take. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And
All right.
I think the kind of more organic approach, like the more organic nature of that type of content is a little bit more approachable, rather than having again a talking head just being like, I know all of this, and I'm trying to give you a
Mm-hmm.
level of understanding that I don't have, rather than, okay, well, let's really ask the same questions, and let's record ourselves having the same confusion as our viewers would have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sort it all out together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be interesting.
Yes,
Um,
I agree actually. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be a cool idea for a
because
video. Yeah.
one thing that you and I always agree on is like we don't want our content to be super gimmicky,
Mm-hmm.
and cheesy, and I
Yeah.
think that type of stuff is interesting. So, um,